Okay, so you said your name was Juma?
Yes.
All right, nice to meet you, Juma.
Same here.
So as you can see, we have this billboard up here. It's a Bitcoin billboard, and it's promoting Bitcoin, and I wanted to find out if you know about Bitcoin or have ever heard about it.
No, this is my first time seeing it, and I've never had anything about it before.
Okay, great. Well, what it is a digital currency. It was created less than 5 years ago and has become more and more popular as time goes on, and in recent months has really exploded and seen a lot of different people starting to use it, a lot of stores online starting to accept it, and a big movement has basically started where Bitcoin is starting to become used in various parts of the world.
Okay.
It's a decentralized currency, meaning there's no central group or government that controls it. It's a protocol, so whoever wishes to participate, you can even run a computer that helps run the Bitcoin network. And like I said, it's worldwide, so there is no group that can control it.
Yeah, well, when you say there is no group and no government, what about the legal side of it?
Well, different governments, that's a very good question. Different governments obviously are learning about it and are adopting policies on it. Some of the policies differ, but many of the governments have recognized it as an asset. Some have recognized it as a currency. So it's so new that there is still decisions being made on how it works and how it's taxed in the different countries. But the point is, it's extremely popular and a lot of people are starting to get into it.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, now one difference with Bitcoin and currencies that we're used to is that there is a fixed amount of Bitcoin that will be created. There can only ever be 21 million. Right now we're at about 12 million in existence. So by the year 2140, it will cease creating Bitcoin and we will have our cap at 21 million.
Why the restriction?
Well, the thing about it is, currencies which are inflationary, obviously if you print too much of one currency, it devalues it.
Right.
And this is something we've seen with the dollar and something we've seen with other currencies. Sometimes they go into hyperinflation and it's even worse than the dollar. There's some countries in South America that are experiencing very volatile currencies right now. So with a currency that has a fixed amount, its value becomes stabilized and actually starts to increase as more and more people use it.
Yep.
Would you be interested in using a currency like that?
Well, the idea sounds interesting.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not something that I would say yes or no, because I have to understand a bit more about it. For
of course.
Reasons. Simply because how will this impact on the most needy, the people who, the poor people?
That's a great question.
Out there, who do not have enough.
That is an excellent question, and there's actually some podcasts that have been talking about that specific subject. There's a podcast called Let's Talk Bitcoin, and they're inviting new podcasters to create shows for their podcast. One of them actually touched specifically upon that exact question. It was podcast number 2 of the, they're doing trials, so they're letting people try out for their podcast. It was number 2, so it was just a week or 2 ago, and that touched on in Africa, they're looking at implementing Bitcoin, which is actually going to revolutionize the economy there and really bring a lot of value into these areas which have been, well, they just haven't shared the same privileges and had a fair currency before, and this changes that, and it could really shift the game around a lot. These type of countries that we're talking about, third world countries, could benefit hugely from a currency that is fair and is not manipulated by any central group.
Well, then who's going to sell the idea down to developing countries like you mentioned, the continent Africa, for example?
Yeah.
Because if it's an outside idea, then it becomes controlled by outsiders.
Well, yeah.
I use that term, outsiders, because I'm from Africa as well.
Oh, awesome.
We've always seen things taken to us, you know, whereas we don't have an input, so we are like just consuming, not being part of the process. So this is good for you, this is the prescription for you, it's going to solve your problem. So I can sense similar thing to what you're saying here.
Yeah.
What makes this different?
Well, the difference here is, like I said, it's decentralized. So it's not one government or one group with an agenda maybe trying to come in and even gain an upper hand, which we've seen happen. In this case, it's actually growing by itself, and videos like this one maybe will be seen in Africa, and maybe someone there will become interested and want to get into Bitcoin. But it's a grassroots growth, and there is no government pushing it. This is the people themselves who are making it extremely popular, and we're starting to see it show up all around the world.
It's an interesting idea. I would love to research it more, and I believe that with globalization, anything that connects people and the world, you know, it's a good thing. You know, there is no way to restrict ourselves to say, you know, I just want this is what I'm used to. You know, it's always good to try new things. Change is constant, and you know, it's an interesting idea. I wish you all the best, and I would like to know more about it.
Great, yeah, well, look it up, Google it, check out some of the podcasts, Consider This, Let's Talk Bitcoin, check out CoinDesk, and if you want to get into Bitcoin yourself, a good way right now in the US is with Coinbase. You can link your bank account and start getting Bitcoin today.
I'll research it and then hopefully make a decision from there.
Awesome, well, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you too.
I'll see you around.
All right.